Assalamu alaikum to our Taqwa Talks family. Today we'll be doing a little something different with a different sheikh. His name is Ali, and today we are going to discuss a specific topic, which I'll be bringing up shortly. So I actually wanted to know more about filling this void in your heart, in your soul. You know, I often find that people of all different ages, they're going around and they feel this restlessness. They try to fill that void with materialistic things, with their materialistic desires. They travel, they do a lot of things, but filling that void, what is the secret? What is the secret to filling that void, which is essentially the secret to being genuinely happy and in peace? If you can please tell us.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That is, I think it is a very important topic in our days, that void, that emptiness of heart. I am a convert Muslim, and or a revert if you want. I have been Muslim half my life. I'm 61 years old now. And until I was 30 years old, I was actually exactly doing that, trying to do that, fill a void. I'm grown up in a kind of a typical classical environment nowadays, in a broken family with a single mother and 4 children. I'm grown up in Reykjavik, Iceland, and I became a seaman quite early in my life. My father left when I was 8. So I didn't have the guidance of a father, and I was very lost very early. Probably all from my childhood, I felt a big hole somewhere in my being, in my soul, in my heart, in my stomach. I don't know where to put that hole, but it is a big and very serious hole. You can also call it depression. I started working on ships as a seaman very early, and my idols and my fathers were my shipmates, and they had an idea how to fill that void. So I started by drinking and smoking and using all the substances that I could get my hands on for many years. And I was not the only one, because this was all around me. This was the way to happiness. If you wanted a good weekend, if you wanted to get rid of your shyness, if you wanted, in general, if you wanted to be happy, you would do that by drinking alcohol or taking some other drugs. Later on, I found out that there are other ways to fill that void, and as my sister was saying, as my daughter was saying, people nowadays they don't have any ideas except to fill that void with things and experiences. You have this idea: if I just get a new car, happiness will come. If I just can travel a little bit, I will be happy. If I just get a new girlfriend, I will definitely be happy. So we do all these things. We change frequently our cars and our girlfriends and our things. And a strange thing happens. We don't feel happiness. This happiness does not last. Even with a brand new Jaguar, your happiness will not last longer than a few days, maybe 1 year. And that is not real happiness. That is actually an imitation. When I became a Muslim, the first thing I noticed after I became a Muslim, when I was 29 years old, alhamdulillah, it was that suddenly I was aware what I was doing. Before that, I never thought if one of my shipmates gave me a glass of whiskey, I would drink it without a single thought. or he gave me a chillum of charas, I would smoke it. I didn't think one thought about it. But now suddenly I start to think, is this good for me? And all the same was with what came out of my body. My language was horrible as a seaman. You know, I did not show respect for anything, and least of all of women. After I became a Muslim, after I converted to Islam, then I started to be aware. And not just that, I started to think, is this good? Is this good for me? What I'm putting in my body and what I'm letting out of my body. Later on, or maybe little by little, I started to understand that none of these things will ever bring you happiness. And this is the reason why the world is now full of wealthy people with everything, with a wife and a couple of girlfriends on the side, or in the case of a Muslim with maybe 2 or 3 wives, with 10 cars, with a golden watch and all these things, and they are dying of depression. I had the great luck, the great blessing of a guidance of a teacher. And I think if I had, the first years as a Muslim, I could see that the Muslims were playing the exactly same game. There was no difference. They were not filling their gap in this void in any different way. They were just doing the same things as the non-Muslims, most of them. Then Alhamdulillah, I started to find people who were really practicing Islam, and they know the secrets. It says in the Quran Al-Karim, I don't remember the ayah in Arabic, but it says only one thing will give you the peace in heart. Only the remembrance of Allah will give you the real peace of heart. And personally, I found that to be a proved fact. It was not until I started to practice my Islam cordially. I started to pray my 5 times prayers a day, and I started to really practice Islam. I started to try to give more than take, give sadaqah in form of spiritual things, smiles, and help the creation of Allah in as many ways as I can. And also with my wealth, I found out that the more I do in the name of Allah and for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this void fills. And that is actually the only way to fill that void. So I really hope that these few and 4 words will awaken some of my young Muslim brothers and sisters to the fact that all the answers are actually in Islam, if you seek them, in the Quran, if you understand it. The Quran Al-Karim will give you all the solutions if you understand it. But to understand it, you need actually a teacher. So I would like to recommend my young brothers and sisters who might listen to this to find a person who is really practicing Islam. It says in the Quran Al-Karim, Bismillah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha wa kunu ma'a sadiqin. And this is actually a very, very, very important aspect in Islam, because alone person, he cannot understand the depths of the message of Islam. Even our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he had a guide, he had a sheikh, which was Jibril Alayhi Salam. And I have never heard of anybody who alone is scrutinizing Al Karim in order to fill the emptiness, spiritual emptiness. If it does not have a guide, it will not work. You will easily be a prey of shaitan, and you will go in the wrong direction. I see it all around me today. And that is all. Thank you so much.